Hi everyone, this is Tanya the Lady Strange. Welcome to another weekly collective reading from my living room. If you hear the heater in the background, yes, we have big heater vents here. It is like 3 degrees here right now. It's been negative and we're about due to get a foot or more of snow, as is other parts of here in the U.S. So yes, emergency, horrible. Time is not a winter go. But this is not about me as much as it's about a collective message for those, including myself, that are part of this collective that resonate with the messages and whom it's meant to reach. An energetic message and guidance. It can be divinatory and predictive at the same time, but mainly energies, circumstances that may come and arise or could potentially change moment to moment. It's best, I believe, to be mindful and aware and to help to bring discernment into our human day-to-day life experiences with the different messages that are out there that are actually truthful in experience as are mine. What I feel, what I'm told, what I connect with, and just my intuition and what I work with and walk with on a mutual path is what I convey apart. And that's what makes me me and my uniqueness. Let's put it that way, my stumbling words. So, with that being said, this week's reading is actually brought to you by the god Hades, whom I work with. He's one of my main ones. I've been connecting with him a lot lately in the past couple months in different ways in my practice. I'm not going to go into that today. I read and pull cards for him at his aspect of my large ever evolving altar that is for him. Hecate, as it is the same pantheon realm and work in tandem, and I work with them separately and in tandem, but Lilith and Lucifer, whom I believe are the same, in their own aspect of their infernal realm. But I guess the male and female counterparts, the masculine and feminine. Just overall, everything has light and dark. Everything has death, life, death, and rebirth aspects, constant patterns, cycles, and change in this human life experience, no matter how we identify or what path we walk. So that's what Hades has to say. So he wants to come forth. So I believe it's going to come forth with a message of being strong, being fair, like the Justice card, bringing in that sort of discernment and truth and looking at things from a very aspect of wisdom of emotional experience and knowing the lessons, the truth, and what you bring forth to the table like he does, but also of the wealth you can create and work with what you have. If you're watching this, you obviously have wealth. If you have food on your table, you have a warm or semi warm home, you have funds to at least survive, at least in the present. You have great people in your life, great resources and tools, or little simple pleasures like coffee. That is all a form of wealth and abundance in itself, but you can bring more abundance in by using your creativity, your experience, and gnosis, much like Katie says. Or you could work with him, that's one of his aspects. And with that being said, before this gets too rambly, as my message often do, because I am in channel mode, as I call it, is the crystal that is being brought to us this week is, let me focus it a little bit, silver sheen obsidian. Silver sheen obsidian is also known as gold, golden obsidian, but I like the term silver sheen obsidian more so. Now, silver sheen obsidian is formed by, primarily, I believe, is found in Mexico. So, yes, more isolated. And what gives it its sheen? I know you may not be able to see it so much depending on my light. It is what it is. But there's a beautiful flash in this one. And basically, it is like a bubble in a sheen of light if you move it in a certain way, almost ventricular. So, with that being said, it's saying that look for the light in the dark. That's what Hades is. Look, there is always lightness in the dark, or the dark night of the soul. Things that are very tough. Feel them, experience them, analyze them, but move through them. That's the message. That's the message of the Silver Sheen, too. It's saying to protect your energy and your boundaries and resources, of course, as we should each be doing every day in this experience because of what we see and happening in the world, what we hear, the constant changes and the negative, even our own day-to-day experiences and interactions. Life is hard. Let's put it that way. But as Hades is saying, life and experience is hard, and we often each day have to face little and big hard decisions that we can do so with fairness and truth and look for the light in it. It also connects the Silver Sheen Obsidian connects the above and the below. So it is great. It's kind of like the positive aspects of the Hierophant, the above and below when he points. Sometimes even the magician was keeping his wand up and his hand down, type of thing. The above and below, like Baphomet. Those aspects of the deep, dark earth we should be rooted in and that we live in and interact and should respect and revere, as she helps to keep us alive in this reality, gives us footing, but also to do with the above. So that is the sky, the clouds, the sun that shines, the moon that illuminates the darkness, much like the Silver Sheen Obsidian. It's saying as look for your light in your life. Look for that silver lining, as they say, of the clouds. And know that there is beauty in darkness and lust and wealth in the dark. Even when things seem desolate, look for that. You can forge your path this week. And with that being said, that is a message from Hades and the Silver Sheen Obsidian. And the deck tarot, this one is the gorgeous, if I can get it in frame, Marigold tarot, which marigolds can be associated with death. Death is my tarot card of the year from the major arcana. I have a couple videos ago on that if you're willing or would like to, if you're inclined to check out. Look at the beautiful gilding on this deck. I did not get the gold gilding one because it was more at the time when I ordered this. I think a year or two, about 2 years ago. She's a gorgeous. She's Rider-Waite Smith inspired, so an easy reader. But Hades has pretty much claimed this deck. I have read many times for others in client readings with it, and it comes out very well. And of course, people are attracted to this deck, much like Hades. The lust, the beauty, and the strength, the knowing, and being the ruler of your realm, your life, your day to day, much like the Emperor. That's also what I believe he connects with. But this is his main deck. He also works with the Gothic tarot. He likes that vampirics and beautiful, dark, deep, dark things. The duality, so to say. The light within the dark within the light. You can't have one without the other. So, with that being said, this tarot is beautiful. It is black, gold, and white. A beautiful color palette. It is a beautiful linen, very slippery. That's my only thing with it. But it's very gorgeous and lustful and thoughtful and thought-provoking. And, of course, skull, skeleton, black and gold. Beautiful. Just like Hades. So he claimed this for good reason. So let's see what message Hades and, of course, the spirits and powers that be would like to provide for this collective this week. Thanks for bearing with me as my message come out this way, but I know that they all tie in tandem together, and we have one. And he's just saying one this week. Usually they say three. He's saying one, and they'll clarify with the oracles. Let's see what we have. A great card, one singular card. We haven't had one like that probably any time recent in the readings, if ever, but we go with what is intuitive and what is guided as I'm channeling him right now. And of course, out of my very much mutual respect and reverence for him and the path I work with him, as ultimately it's also up to me and my discernment because I'm a left-hand path practitioner. But I also respect that which I work with and have a mutual, beneficial, and reverent, respecting, evolving relationship like I do with people. That's how I look at my deities and spirits. And that's just what leads to this and what he's also saying. The Ace of Cups. So the Ace of Cups is a minor arcana. It is the root of water, which is emotions, the tides of emotions, of our perceptions in our inner world, our subconscious, often our shadow even. That which the light we bring to our relationships, the love we have, the love we give, the love we can receive and give to others, the ability to give and receive, but to look for those new beginnings and those things that fill our cup. We need to fill our cups first, remember, before we can fill others' cups. But others should be filling our cups too. It should be mutual and reverent and respectful. Not give, give, give till your cup is empty and your emotional well, so you have nothing for yourself or your self-care or to nurture yourself. That's also a thing. Don't forget to remember to acknowledge your emotions and to nurture yourself and look at a new way and perception and perspective of taking care of yourself, but also while taking care of others. Look for new beginnings. New beginnings have been coming up in these collective readings. If you do feel inclined to watch any of the recent ones, as the old is moving, as we're starting to move, we are going to the final week of January in 2026 already. So time's a moving, as they say. But remember to give love, feel love, and fill your cup. Look for the new relationships, opportunities, and what fills you up emotionally. What is your shine in your life when it comes to your emotional fulfillment and how you can help to fulfill potentially in a healthy, again, reciprocity, I always say that word wrong, reciprocal way, let's put it that way, of those that you truly matter, to have that relationship or to bring more light into the world, as this world is often dark, but it doesn't have to overcome us. We can shine our light very brightly, even if it's for 5 minutes in a week. And remember, others have that too and guide us. That's the message. So the next one we're looking at is he wants haunted manor. Okay. Not a surprise, this comes up for almost every week, or probably 85 to 90% of my readings, if not more. It's my favorite oracle, of course. Yeah, you watch even for a hot minute dose. But this is not just for him. This deck works. This oracle works with many and all of my decks, whether they're darkly light inclined or a matter of both, just like myself. But beautiful. Look at that packing. Beautiful, lustful, gorgeous, like beautiful damask wallpaper. If I could talk right. Let's see, what do you have in conjunction Hades and the powers of spirits that be and channeling through me, my guides? What does this collective, whom includes myself, for conjunctive message to the Ace of Cups, to that energy of relationships, potentially new relationships and emotions, building, rebuilding, or the relationships we can build with ourselves, and how we can fill our cup and others. As emotions and emotional tides, and the water element is very nurturing, and self-care and self-care of that which matters leads to the Empress, and that is whether you're masculine or feminine. And this one come out, and I'm being told 3, but this one came out as a jumper, so let's see what we have. We had this one, I believe, last week too. Set sail. Life has its ups and downs. So much like the tides of emotions, like the Ace of Cups, the beginnings and ends that too can come, I believe, are associated with that. It is also the root of water, of course. But it is a journey. So yes, life has ups and downs. Sometimes it has horrendous tidal waves. Sometimes it's very still and calm, even if it's for an hour. It goes ups and downs, but that doesn't mean we don't continue on our journey or finding new harbors, safe tides, relationships, or rebuilding. So that's the message of that, and there's 2 more. Let's see, 2 more to go with setting sail, and life has its ups and downs, and the emotions this week in relationships. Relationships of self and relationships of, and that's also all types of relationships, no matter what they may be or look like, this week. And nurturing, feeling those emotions and acknowledge them, and transmuting them into something that is more working. You don't repress. Observe, acknowledge, and process. And let's see what jumped out here. We have a, so now he said 2, not 3. So we'll go with the second one that he advised. Hey, he has every right to change his mind. We all do. Okay, so we got crystal ball here, which is, give me a second with my eyes. Sometimes my eyes, yeah, we got an eye problem. You can watch my previous videos. There's many of them that mention, but we're done. Focus on the objective. So the crystal ball. So that's like the silver sheen. The shininess. So focus on those subtle things, or those things that may stand out and catch your attention. When maybe the expression one gives you, even if it's a stranger, maybe that's positive. Those little words, things that might pop up in your literature, in your TV shows, your movies, maybe your spouse says, your coworker. If you're like me and your job is dealing with strangers and customer service through a phone, or even you have a job face to face, it's those little interactions. But focus on the objective. The objective is to find love in whatever forms it is in your life. And love brings wealth. Remember that. And having love in even the smallest forms brings wealth. That's the best thing. Wealth and good health. Money is money. Okay, and lastly is the Fallen Angels Oracle. I forget who this is by. It was at a print for a period of time. Maybe it is back in. I don't know. It was a mass market deck. It's appropriate for Hades. It is a cemetery deck. Cemetery images, but it is with goetic spirits and a keyword. Such an amazing deck. I love this. This is one of my favorites, to be honest. I just haven't worked with her so much in the past. I'd say most of the majority of 2025. I have not neglected it, just not have worked with it avidly. I think that's going to change in 2026, I feel, already. And for many reasons. So what do we have to close out? This one. So our closing message, or to add conjunctively to that, is coming. Take advice is the keyword. I'm going to go by the keywords and not, unless you are into like goetic spirits and fallen angels, much like myself, or an occultist, or that type of practitioner that works with those energies and those entities, and former deities as they were bastardized by things. We're not going to go into that, but yes. But you can see, if you want to look at him up, and of course find by that, but look at that beautiful image. So the cemetery, the funerary messages, again, I love this deck, I love cemetery. I have a beautiful one about 15 minutes from my house, give or take, that I get to partake into sometimes every month, or several times a year, or twice a month, depending on whom gives me a ride, but primarily one of my best friends. And with that being said, though, take advice. So that is part of the relationship, and the having a reciprocal, reverent, and beneficial relationship to those people and things that we matter. And even with the dialogue we have with ourselves and recognizing our feelings, it's actually acknowledging them and not pushing them down, as they are valid Even if they seem invalid or overwhelming, it's best to process through them. And eventually, by processing and recognizing and having discernment, you will, you as I do each day, will eventually continue to transmute them more into self love, self care, and nurturing what truly relationships matter in this life. So find your light in the dark, find your wealth, bring wealth to yourself, whether it's through love, relationships nurturing, the hard work you put through, and analyzing your finances, and just being here in this human life experience. And this week, I just wanted to put my silver sheen I'll be working with besides that palm stone. I'll be wearing this beautiful mala that has black tourmaline, silver sheen in it, and this key, which I have. This is going to be my Hades mala. It's a beautiful, lovely gift created by one of my best friends. She is amazing and talented and one of my biggest supporters on this channel. So I hope you watch it and know with gratitude I love this and that Hades thanks you also. And with that being said, thanks for watching the rambles. Please check out my Instagram. Sometimes I do post these readings or the community or post tab here on YouTube are written. And also my random other things I do post sometimes on Instagram. And with that being said, thanks for watching and bearing with my long rambles. And Hades says thank you and have a wonderful, empowered week and stay strange.